Peace. What's up? Alright, I'm just chilling up here on my roof, loving life. It is January and it is beautiful. I live in paradise. So check it out. Today, I have something on my heart that I want to share with you. And what it is the topic of forgiveness. It's been a lesson for me recently, and it's been something that has become dominant, you could say, on my path. So today, I share with you a couple lessons I've learned about forgiveness. First thing that comes to my mind is that forgiveness is a selfish act first, a personal act first. It sounds weird to use those words, but go with me on the flow. When you go through something that lets you down as the outcome, you're not happy with how it's gone, you're not happy with how it's transpired, there's always two sides to that story, which means that you have your own part to take accountability for and responsibility for in creating the frustration of this situation. So let's use a relationship. In a relationship, you find frustration, you leave each other, the friend and you are no longer at speaking terms. Now comes the hard part. What is it that I contributed or didn't contribute into the failing, you could say, of this relationship, or not achieving the goal of lifelong friendship that you would have assumed was possible? Now, you begin the inward journey. What is it that I've done? And you might, if you have, first of all, the guts to take that part of the journey, then you will discover your part of how it is that you damaged your own relationship. And what you'll find then is you won't want to confront that, because that means that you have hurt yourself. And in doing so, the very first thing you need to do is forgive yourself for letting yourself hurt yourself and letting yourself hurt another human, especially one that you wanted a lifelong relationship with. Now, you have a harsh reality of seeing the truths of how it is that you contributed in this area. Now, another part of forgiveness does have to do with the other person. Sometimes the relationship goes awry due to the actions of another person opposite you. And in this moment, there can be a massive disconnect that takes place. And now things can enter into this void that is created in this disconnect that damage one another on a very real level, on a very deep level. And sometimes it's so painful that it forces each other apart like magnets, becoming opposite from one another. And relationships follow the law of attraction at that point, or in this case, the law of opposites, unattraction, disattraction, and they go their separate ways. But in the wake of that process, you may experience a lot of negative talk that then resonates in the mind like chitta vritti, according to the ancient yogis. Chitta vritti is the mind stuff that just doesn't stop. It keeps going constantly. They're the thoughts that the ego, in its most negative shadow form, just loves to keep telling you over and over. You should have done this, or you shouldn't have done that, or that person was right about what they said. Even though you know in your heart they weren't, your mind will spin and everything goes crazy. So you got to forgive that voice, which is your energy's mental personification of the person that caused you harm. Now, when you can choose to forgive that person, what you're doing and what all the masters have been telling you about forgiveness is you're letting go of your internal dialogue with that person's energy. And if you don't let go of that conversation, it will stay and it will continue to knock over every vase you put in your mental temple. And every single time you set up something positive in there, it'll say, nope, boom, and it'll knock you straight off. And it's yourself. It's your own shadow saying, pay attention to me. Heal this part of me. Heal this part of me internally that has gone through a trauma. And forgiveness is the only way to heal that part of your shadow. So, how can you actually forgive? This is where we'll wrap it up. It's a tricky process, first of all, because there's so many connotations that come along with the word forgiveness. But I'll do my best to explain how I see it. Which is allowing the pain that you are experiencing to be real to you. Meaning, you're not denying its existence, and you're not afraid to look at it straight in the eye. And then realizing that that pain is no longer serving you and letting it dissipate. Now those are simple words that mean things to certain people, but I'll give you a little bit more of a process for those of you that are looking for that kind of guidance. What I would do is sit down in meditation. I'd start by taking at least 3, but usually about 10 deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, breathing in all the way down through the spine into my root chakra, and then breathing out up the spine and out through my nose. What that does is get my body stabilized, rooted in the moment, and I just start to feel good. Now, I focus on my heart, and I call to my mind the shadow figure that I'm seeing that represents either all the thoughts, the words, the pictures, the memories, the actions, the events that transpired. I call all those into my mental projection screen. And I allow my experience to feel them, and I feel them with creating a bubble of love around me. And in my energy bubble of electromagnetic heart-made love energy, I can forgive the pain that I am currently observing in my meditative state. And I allow it to leave my experience, because truly the only reason you hold on to this stuff is because it gives you a sense of value. And if you're needing a sense of value internally, it's funny how we will turn to negative things to give us a sense of value. Now we don't live in that earth anymore. We're on the new earth. I don't know if you've noticed, but the energy has shifted. And right now, everything is elevating. And as you raise your frequency, as you wake up, as you continue to go down this path of awakening that never finishes, enlightenment is a lifelong process. That's what I'm learning, at least. And that doesn't mean I figured it out, by the way. It just means that these words are starting to make a little bit more sense. And I'm seeing the power of these words and what they're all pointing towards. We're on this path together. There's nothing to worry about. The energy is lifting. And as you forgive yourself, and as you forgive others around you, you will continue to expand. And I'll finish it by saying one more thing. You do not need to necessarily be in a relationship, in continued relationship with this person. Perhaps the relationship has ended for a reason, but forgiveness is still mandatory. Otherwise, you'll take that energy into your next relationship. So no matter what the outcome of your relationship is, the friendship, even if it's an acquaintance can sometimes hurt you even more than a deep friendship. You need to learn to forgive equally. And realize that, look, it has nothing to do with you. Other people's responses to you literally has nothing to do with you. The best you can do is evoke out of someone else an interpretation of how they feel about themselves. That represents you. But that's not really allowing a genuine connection. Because in truth, we are meant to balance ourselves. We are meant to be whole within first. And what I'm learning is that a real relationship is one in which you give to, not one in which you go expecting to receive from only. We have to give. That's the nature of the heart. That's the nature of forgiveness. Give to yourself, give to your heart, give to your body, and love on yourself. Take some time. Take 10 breaths. Take 10 minutes. There's no such thing as time. Make the time. Do it. Do it now. One love. Can't wait to see you along the journey once again. Peace.